You know, I often ponder this question, and I often wonder and ask myself, why hasn't anyone done this yet? Bear with me. I ponder this question. I ask myself, why hasn't anyone done this yet? Well, what are you talking about? It's a question. So check this out. What if? Years ago, I remember reading a book, and this book was created by like top historians, top generals, and they wrote a book. It was a collection of authors, so I'm not even going to begin to tell you the name of the authors. But they wrote a book, and it was a big book where they explored history and they asked a simple question of what if, you know, what if America would have lost the war against Nazi Germany? Like, what would society look like? Like, what would be the repercussions of just different historical events throughout history? Alexander the Great, if he would have lived, what if? And I often ask that question when it comes to hip hop. Like, what would the hip hop landscape look like? What would it be like? What if Tupac survived the Las Vegas shooting? And I always go back to that because that was the butterfly effect, the biggest catalyst, the biggest ripple effect that led us to where we are today. We are getting ready to go inside of 2025, and literally some of the greatest rappers alive aren't here today. And these particular rappers, they change things. They change everything. Tupac, Big L, Big Pun, Biggie Smalls, Lil Snoop, Jimmy Wall Street, XXX Tentacion, the list goes on. Capital, Steez. Like, what if, you know, these rappers would have made it? I'm gonna start with Tupac, and I'm going off the top right here. Nothing, I don't have no notes, nothing is pre recorded, none of that bullshit. But let's start with Tupac. What would hip hop look like today if Tupac would have lived? What would Tupac be doing today? If he were alive, what would the homie be doing? What would hip hop look like? What business ventures would be happening? Tupac, if you haven't been hiding under a rock, before his death, he was working on his own record label, right? He wanted to start his own record label. The night that he passed away and was viciously gunned down, he had on a chain. And the chain, was from his record label that he was starting. This was already in the works with Mr. Marion Suge Knight. And you could go look this up. These are all facts. It was already in the works that this is what's going to be done. And then he also wanted to do that's Death Row East. He wanted a death row, but on the East Coast. So I thought about this topic a lot. What if Tupac would have survived? He would have been highly pissed off. But I do think that eventually he would have kept rapping, making music. He would have had the record label, Mortal Outlaws. They'll be all of the Outlaws. They'll be way bigger than what they are. And Death Row East, I believe that would have became a thing. That would have became a big thing. Who would have been on that label? I don't know. I'm not even going to begin to go there, but I think if Tupac would have lived, I think he would have eventually won the war against Puff, and eventually Bad Boy would have been a thing of the past. You know what I mean? It would have been something of the past. It would have been, you know, oh, he came and went almost like hmm, like that group Pretty Ricky. Remember at one point during hip hop, during the era, Pretty Ricky was around, and for a whole entire 2 summers, they had 2 summers where they ran everything. That's all they could talk about, and then like somehow, some way, Pretty Ricky just faded into the back. They faded into oblivion. You don't hear about Pretty Ricky anymore. That's what I think would have eventually happened to Bad Boy. Puff with Tupac alive, I don't think Puff Daddy, a P Diddy, no Diddy, would have been as popular as he is today. All them stories about the freak offs and the like that type of stuff would have came and went. Would he be rich? Would he still be successful? Yes, But the liquor deal, the deal he had with Ciroc, the Sean John clothing line, etc., all of that wouldn't have been as successful. You know, Jay Z, how would that affect Jay Z? Jay Z would still be around, and I do think because he's like such a smart individual, he has a nice business mindset. He's very astute, if that's the word I'm looking for, when it comes to business. I do think Jay Z would have been around. He would have had the record label. I don't believe that they would have been competing against each other. If not Jay Z, then maybe Biggie Smalls. Would have had the compete the record label. you know, but no. So we're gonna start there, and then also, what did Tupac and Suge Knight want to do? Because it affects everything. The death of Tupac, when I tell you it affects everything, it affects everything. And Suge Knight even mentioned this, that they were, after Tupac launched his record label and then got his artists and everything up off the ground, eventually the long term goal was to take control over distribution. Tupac wanted to eventually take control. He wanted to do what UMG, Universal Music Group, is doing today. He wanted that. Tupac, he was all about black businesses, and then black business owners, and he was all about people having our own. I believe we would have also saw a black-owned sports team had Tupac lived. Because of his business mindset and the things that he wanted to do, like within the black community, eventually we would have had multiple black-owned sports teams. Why do I say that? Why? What gives you the audacity to say something like that? Because of the way the man was. He just wasn't some normal backpack rapper. No, not by a long shot. He wasn't a normal backpack rapper. Go listen to his conversation that he had over the phone with Monster Cody. Monster Cody nor Tupac knew that phone conversation was being recorded. And sometimes I go and visit to it. Sometimes I go listen to it because it's one thing to when a person is on a microphone, you get to see how they are, and lights, camera, action, and they'll give an interview and everything has to be politically correct, and you have to say this particular talking point and bam, 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 bam. It's one thing to do that, but I've always been interested in how are some of these rappers or some of these people that we look up to, how are they off of the camera, off of the microphone when they don't know that you're being recorded. What was Tupac really like? And just by that phone conversation, if you want to get a glimpse and know who Tupac really was, you gotta go and listen to that phone call that he had with Monster Cody. And none of them, they both didn't even know during the time that the conversation was being recorded. Tupac had called the Monster Cody. The answering machine came on. Then Monster Cody heard Tupac's voice and then went to pick up. And then it kept being recorded. That's how we got that tape today. But the stuff that he had planned and the stuff that he wanted to do was almost like it was nation building. Tupac had what you would call a nation building mindset. And surprisingly, the same way that he was on the interview, he was the same way when the cameras weren't rolling and he was having a regular phone call. This dude was just having a regular phone call. And he was the same way talking about stuff that he wanted to do, talking about plans, talking about movie ideas, talking about community organization, talking about black owned businesses. They were literally talking about building, you know. And that also puts another thing in perspective. Rest in peace to Monster Cody. Rest in peace to Monster Cody. Oh, dude. He'll probably still be alive to this day with one of the biggest movie deals in Hollywood. He'll probably be working along with Ice Cube or something. I know Monster Cody, he wanted to do that, but the death of Tupac, it changed a lot of things. A lot of things that people wanted done could not get done. With Tupac alive, Suge Knight wouldn't even be in jail. These were smart individuals. Say what you want about Suge Knight, but that man is a smart individual. They both of them combined, smart geniuses. So they want to take over the distribution, and then also, as I stated earlier, because of their business mindset, eventually they would have organized hip hop to the point to where you would have black, not only our own distribution service, but we also have black owned sports team. Imagine the L.A. Lakers being owned, being black owned. How is it that black Americans, we dominate the sport, but we don't have any control over it? Think about that for a second. We dominated. Like black athletes, we completely dominated. Look at LeBron James dominating, but no control. No control. And that to me very surprising. You have all these black billionaires and millionaires, and all of them, but there's no unity. If Tupac would have been alive, no, all of that individualism would have stopped. Because that's the biggest catalyst that holds down the black community is having an individualistic mindset. Like the war with the black community has always been about the mindset. Like you have Indian Americans, for example. Respect to the Indian American, respect to all Americans, to everybody around the globe, period. But they come over here and they know how to unite, right? And they live under one roof for a year. 5 people, right? All right, you save up 10,000. I save up 10,000. You save up. That's $50,000. They got saved up together by the end of the year. All right, let's go ahead and do that for another year. Now you got $200,000. Okay, we got $200,000 to go open up a liquor store somewhere in the hood. And they go open up that business, and then once they all make their money and stuff, then they go open up more business. All right, we're gonna buy this car dealership. We're gonna buy this. We're gonna buy that. And the next thing you know, they living in this beautiful gated community. Out here in Illinois, I saw one time And I went to this community, and they is literally a whole bunch of them. They had beautiful houses, beautiful homes, everything. An entire gated community in the suburb of Illinois. But back to the topic at hand, Tupac, he was not about individualism. Tupac, he was about nation building. That's what separated him from the bunch. Because of his upbringing, he had radical ideas. And those radical ideas included stopping the violence, coming together, and building up the community. Tupac wanted a Black Wall Street type of thing going on. If Tupac would have lived, you would have saw Black Wall Street times 100. That's how come. I think I'm not going to go into conspiracy land, but theoretically speaking, if I were to go into conspiracy land, it would have been very important for the powers that be to take him out. Because he had a powerful voice and he knew how to unite people. So with Tupac being alive, the entire landscape of hip hop looks different. The entire landscape. The music sounds different. I would say with Tupac alive, yeah, you would still have some of the poverty rap. You would still, have your niggas rapping about the everyday struggle. But also the state of black America would have been in a better place. Why? Because of the things that he had planned with the community. There will be less violence. Like drill rap would not exist. With Tupac still alive, the culture, the whole entire drill culture, dead. You know, the entire drill culture, dead. The entire trap genre, dead. You know what I mean? Dead. I don't think it would have been that. We still with Tupac alive, it changes things. Like you would probably have the emo rap. You cannot say that about the emo rap genre. You would still have the emo rap. You would still have your XXX Tentacion's. Who's the other one? Who's the other one? The other dude that be dressing weird and then they got the Ken Carson. You probably have them motherfuckers. Whatever his name is, he would. Playboy Cardi, is it? Yeah, it's Playboy Cardi. XXX Tentacion. You would definitely have your Little Snoops. You would have your Big L's running around. And you will also have your Jimmy Wall Streets running around. Meek Mill, that's questionable. If he would even be around, it's questionable if he would even be relevant. But a lot of these rappers that you see today wouldn't exist. Your Chief Keefs, all the motherfuckers, they owe their entire career, and I hate to say this, and don't take this the wrong way, to the death of Tupac. The entire music industry, all of the people that we see right now, UMG, all of them, the entire music industry, wow. Okay, we are back. I'm sorry for that intermission. I had to take that phone call. Then I hung up, but afterwards, I had more time to think and reflect about this topic because this is not a brief topic at all. There's so many things to consider when talking about the rapper Tupac Shakur. As I last stated, the entire music industry as a whole and the entire landscape of black America as a whole completely different. Everything changes. I think we would have eventually had a subsection of what I would call jazz rap. Replace the drill rap with jazz rap. The whole drill scene. Replace all of that. We still got the emo scene going on, and then also it would have been a more of a party rap. I think party rap would have became a thing because Tupac, yeah, he talked about the struggle and stuff like that, but he also made feel good music like with him and MC Breeze. You got to get yours, I got to get mine. A lot of party songs. You know what I mean? Like a lot of the songs for the women. You know what I mean? So I believe we would have also had a sub session. Let's get rid of trap music. Let's bring in maybe some EDM rap, something new, something different that we never even heard of. So you would have had all these different subsections of rap, all new, all different, all new and all different. With Tupac alive, it changes everything. Again, what? Well, why do I say that? What gives you the audacity to say something like that? Look at how Chief Keef changed and influenced drill culture. Chief Keef, the drill godfather. You know what I mean? The godfather of drill. Trap. All that bullshit. But look at the culture. Look at the influence that he was able to change on the mind of the youth. Look at how they revere him. You know what I mean? Now you got a million dreadheads because of Chief Keef, Lil Wayne, of course. You gotta give him his respect. But you this big drill culture. All these kids, dying innocently, going on drills. You got the Kia boys out there in Florida hijacking cars. Chief Keef made it cool to talk about spinning the block on your ops. He made that cool. Who was the one? Chief Keef came out with that song. That's I don't like. That was the song, the catalyst that really blew him up. That made him famous. And then who hopped up on the remix? You got Kanye West on the remix, and then you got Jay-Z all up on the remix. You got Kanye and you got Jay-Z. Influencing that whole thing. Oh yeah, if Kanye like it, Jay-Z like it. Oh yeah, it's cool. It's legit now. So now that's the thing. That's that I don't like. Everybody singing it. And that's another thing, dude. What gives you the audacity to say drill wouldn't exist? Let's bring up Big L. Let's bring up Big L. That's another topic. Big L will be around. Like if Tupac, with Tupac alive, 85 to 90% of the rappers wouldn't exist. With Tupac alive, Big L also exists. The Big L eventually comes into the timeline. Why do I say that? He was just wicked. He was just wicked. Big L's like the apex predator of rap. That song, that's that I don't like. You don't get that with Big L being alive. With Big L being alive, the way people look up to Jay-Z, the way people look up to Nas, people will look up to Nas. Yeah, you have a few of the subsection that still look up to Jay-Z, but Big L will be at the top of the list. You will have Biggie Smalls, and then after Big, oh man, who's the greatest rapper? Everybody would have to agree, yo, it was Big L. Dame Dash, even talks about this a lot during a lot of his interviews. He talked about how good Big L was. Even Nas said himself during the interview he was afraid. He was afraid to even rap anymore after listening to Big L. Big L was the apex predator. He got on the radio station with Jay-Z and wiped the flow with him. He wiped Big L, mopped him, wiped the flow with Jay-Z. Had Jay-Z stuttering, on the radio when they had that little freestyle, back and forth, had Jay-Z over there stuttering. I know he had to be sweating. How could you rap after an apex predator like Big L? Big L was bodying niggas like on the microphone. So that song, that's that shit I don't like. Jay-Z doesn't do that with Big L around. If Big L, because during that time, Jay-Z, he was the stimulus package. You had certain rappers, just how like people go to Drake to get the stimmy. Once upon a time, you got Kanye West, you got Jay-Z. That was the stimulus package. Lil Wayne was the stimmy. Drake didn't become the stimmy until after Lil Wayne kind of faded into the background, started skateboarding and playing the guitar and just doing his own thing. And that was after. All of this was like after. That's that shit I don't like. Drake, yeah, he was around during the time, but with Tupac being alive, Biggie Smalls being alive, if Big would have lived, if Big Pun would have lived and said, fuck this shit, I got my money, I got fame, I got a kid, I'm going to, look out for my health, and I want to be around in this rap game for a long time. Big Pun, apex predator of rap. In New York, because it's looking real heavy over there right now in New York. Let's turn our attention to New York for a second. New York is looking real heavy because we're doing our what if of hip hop right now. What would hip hop look like today? So in New York, you got Big Pun, you got Biggie Smalls, you got Big L's, you got the three bigs. Biggie Smalls, Big Pun, and you got Big L. You got Nas, and then there's Jay-Z. If you ever study the laws of physics, two objects can't occupy the same space at one time. Somebody has to be the apex predator. Somebody has to dominate. The three bigs. You want to talk about the big three? Imagine all three of the bigs being alive during that time, Yeah, Jay-Z, he was Big's boy. So yes, Jay-Z would still be on. But Jay-Z would be like a close five. He would be like he'd be like the fifth one. You would have Biggie Smalls, you have Big Pun, then you'll have Big L, then you'll have Nas, and then then you'll have Jay-Z. Maybe. Why do I say that? He might be battling. He might have to battle for that spot with Jadakiss. Jadakiss, he the man. So Jadakiss might have took that 5 spot, but because of the business moves and the success of Jay-Z, you have to give him that ring. You know what I mean? But would he have that success if all three of the bigs would have been alive? Would he have that success if Tupac got a chance to start Death Row East? The bigs would have been alive, but from what I'm hearing, Biggie Smalls and Diddy, your boy Diddler, towards the end, they kind of had a falling out. And the main catalyst was because of the war in the West Coast. So eventually, Big would have earned his freedom. Big would have, yo, let me get up out of this contract. Let me get up out of this deal. It's time for me to go and do my own thing. Eventually, that would have happened. That would have happened. but what would he have done after that? You know, you got Death Row East out there going on. We know him and Tupac not gonna piece it up, especially after what happened with your girl Faith Evans. You know, like it's hard to piece it up with somebody after that. So eventually, maybe Big would have got a competing label. You know, maybe he hooks up with Little Kim. Maybe he hooks up with Little Kim, divorces Faith Evan, and then eventually him and Tupac say, you know what, fuck that shit, let's piece it up. Eventually, they would have had to piece it up somewhere down the line, especially if you want to do business. It's more profitable to do business and work together than you know everybody competing as enemies. You know, like two heads are greater than one. Weird shit going on. Wait 1 second. Sorry about that again. I keep getting interrupted. Wow, I'm back again for the third time. Wait 1 second. What the fuck is this shit? Okay. All right. Cool. So I'm back again for the third time. And so eventually they would have pieced it up. You know, because I do believe Biggie Smalls would have moved on, and eventually they would have said, "F it," you know what I mean? Let's go ahead, let's drop this. You know, I got Death Row, you doing your thing, you know. So eventually they would have pieced it up. Uh, where does where does that put Snoop Dogg on the West Coast? What do we do with Snoop Dogg on the West Coast? Now it's time to travel back to the West. Snoop Dogg would not be as big as he is today with Tupac still alive. With Tupac still alive, I don't even think you have Dr. Dre in Interscope anymore. You know, Tupac, you know, he was beefing with allegedly, you know, he had a whole beef going on with Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg. You know, Tupac, with Tupac alive, the West Coast, he controls all of that, you know, because whenever Tupac dropped, everything stopped. You know what I mean? And then from what I'm hearing through the grapevine, I don't know how true it is. Tupac and Suge Knight, they had the beef going on with Snoop Dogg. Easy E, you know, he had Ruthless Records. He didn't even, you know, mess with Snoop Dogg like that. So so eventually, I've even seen a photo once. I've seen it. It was somewhere online where Tupac took a photo with Easy E. I do believe Snoop would have got with Dre. They probably would have dropped some classics. Snoop Dogg would have linked up with Dre. They probably would have dropped some classics, but eventually that whole entire beef, we could pretty much say they would have put an end to that. You know, I don't see Tupac, Snoop, and Dre continuing that beef, especially with the ideas and plans that Tupac wanted to do. You know, he had big goals, big dreams, big plans, and those plans affect largely Black America. And this guy, he was really trying to be a leader. So I don't see that beef happening that long. You know, I do believe, you know, I do know Easy E was beefing with Suge Knight. I know they had their whole thing going on. I know they had their whole thing going along. Uh, if Easy E would have lived, I'm just taking a guess. I'm doing this all from a theoretical, philosophical, you know, point of view. If Easy E would have lived, would they piece it up? Would he piece it up with somebody like Suge Knight? That one, I don't know, and I'm not even gonna try to answer that one. I don't even want to try to answer that. You know, why don't I want to try to answer that? Well, for a few of the things that Suge Knight said after Easy's passing, which I think was uncalled for. Like a few of the conspiracy theories that came out of that situation. But I don't think so. I think that beef, especially from interviews that I've heard from Jelly Heller and everybody, that beef was bigger than rap. Like that beef was it was deep. Allegedly, I don't know how true this is. Suge Knight jumped on Easy E, right? Beat him up in the studio, and Easy E he wanted to. I believe that's his name, Jerry Heller. I believe Easy E he wanted to do something to Suge Knight. He wanted to M word Suge Knight. You know, it's a shame you can't be blunt anymore and say what you really wanted to say. But he wanted to do something to Marion Suge Knight. He wanted to unalive him. That's a shame you have to say that. But so I don't think that beef would have, but I do think, maybe Tupac and his record label, maybe they would have had some workings going on. I don't know. Maybe like some of them artists maybe would have collabed. I do know Tupac. He did a song with Busy Bone. So there's a collaboration right there. Biggie Smalls also did a collaboration with Busy Bone. But I don't think that gets in the way, like the beef that he had with Suge Knight. I don't think it gets in the way of business. Is what I'm trying to say. I don't think that their beef gets in the way of business, but I don't believe they bury the hatch. I don't believe the hatch is getting buried. The hatch will probably get buried when it's in somebody's back. Is when they'll bury the hatch. I don't think that gets. So hip hop, the whole entire landscape, it changes. A lot of the rappers wouldn't be around today. The culture would be different. The same way drill culture, because think about this. Look at drill culture. Look at the way the music affects, black America today. Why do I specifically point that out? Because hip hop is American. It's a black American culture, black American subgenre that was created for us and then by us. And then, but the whole world is able to share the experience, which is cool. That's cool. This isn't no racist thing or none of that. But this is hip hop though. Is self expression. Is it was created for black people to come together to self express ourselves. Like so. But the whole thing. Look at the way drill changes the mindset. Like look at all the youth. Look at the way drill and all this music got everybody popping pills, taking perks. You know what I mean? Look at all the violence, city by city. Each and every year, 400 from this city, 500 from that city, 800 from that city. Ba 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 ba. You know, everybody's influenced and everybody affected by drill. Like with Tupac alive and a lot of the greats alive, you can eliminate all the drill rappers. They ain't shit. Eliminate them. That subgenre I do not believe exists. I could go on and on about this because I still haven't gotten to XXX Tentacion, still haven't gotten into Lil Snoop, still haven't gotten into Jimmy Wall Street. Oh man, Jimmy Wall Street, nice. Capital Steez. Haven't talked about Capital Steez. Those, I think I'm going to save that for another what if topic for a different day. But for this what if topic, we're going to talk about just Tupac, Biggie. We're going to talk about the legends, the giants, Big Pun. You know what I mean? Eventually, I do think that the bigs probably would have collided, and that would have been a war like of a earth shaking magnitude. You know what I mean? Imagine the three bigs battling it out, like, yo, who's the best? You know what I mean? Like Oh my God, that's a topic for another. That's the topics are a gift of themselves that just keep giving and giving. That's another topic I think I'll save for another day. The battle of the three bigs. Breaking down their style because they all had like a unique style, but they all were equally apex predators. So with the three bigs alive. Yes, you do have Jay Z, but Jay Z, the Jay Z that's married to Beyonce. No, you do not have the Jay Z that's married to Beyonce. You do not have the Jay Z when Jay Z got up with Beyonce. Jay Z was damn near on top of the world. You know what I mean? Rockefeller, you got your own clothing brand. You doing good. You don't got no competition. Everybody out the way, just you and Nas. You and Nas is running everything. You know what I mean? Bring in the three bigs. Now we gotta have a different conversation. We got the three bigs involved. Okay, yeah, we need to talk. Do you hook up with Beyonce Knowles? Do you know what I mean? Without the like the clothing brand, does that still happen? I know maybe it does. Maybe it does because then there's, like I said earlier, there is the fact that Jay Z, that was Big's boy. You know what I mean? That was big. Maybe it does, but Jay Z to Big is what Benny Siegel was to Jay Z. Benny Siegel is still successful, or maybe Freeway, maybe what either one of them, Freeway or Benny Siegel. That's what Jay Z was to Big. Jay Z was Big's version of maybe a Freeway or a Benny Siegel. So you could look at both of their careers and combine it, and we would say, Jay Z, instead of being that billionaire, he'll probably be, he'll still be rich, he'll still be the man, but he'll be on the level of a Freeway or a Benny Siegel. You know what I mean? He'll probably be battling it out somewhere with Jada Kiss. You know what I mean? like when he's not in the gulag, like he's still one of the coldest. You have to respect Jay Z. You got to respect, and this is not a disrespectful thing at all. I'm just saying with the three bigs, you know what I mean? Like the conversation looks different. Jay Z. I put it like this: maybe he'll still be rich. He'll still have maybe 200, $300 million. Maybe he'll be like Nas rich, like Nas. Like I look at Nas, the way I look at Nas right now, he's in the rightful place in hip hop. I mean, he's one of the greatest, just like Jay Z is one of the greatest. But he's just in the rightful place in the conversation. It just fits in right. When we talk about what if, Nas is always going to be there. The only catalyst, the only question is Jay Z there? Is Jay Z there? Is Jay Z the Sean Carter that we see today? This big mogul, this big hip hop giant, or the guy that owned Tidal. You know what I mean? Got all these lucrative deals. He controls the halftime show at the NFL. Does Jay Z take that role, or does that role go to Suge Knight? With Tupac being alive, does that role go to Suge Knight? If Tupac was alive, Suge Knight doesn't go to jail. Butterfly effect. A lot of the stuff that happens doesn't happen with Tupac alive. So we got to take the butterfly effect into consideration. With Tupac alive, Black America is healthier. We're not influenced by the drill culture. We're not influenced by the drill music with Tupac alive. With Tupac alive, we still doing our own thing, but Black America overall is in a healthy state. Yeah, we still got our gangs and shit, but they're more unified, right? Like the gangs will be running more like a mafia if Tupac were alive. Like, yeah, you will have your gangs, but they'll also be smart enough to have their black-owned businesses. You know what I mean? To have their burger shop on the side. You know what I mean? Like the gang leaders that I watched growing up, they own laundromats. They all own car washes and shit. These gang bangers now, they don't own shit. You know what I mean? They don't own nothing. It's all about individualism. They don't think as a unit. They don't have a like Tupac, that militant mindset. So with Tupac, like everything changes. The street culture changes. Everything from top to bottom. Who would be around? That's another topic for. I'm just gonna save another day, but I think you all get it for this first part. I'm gonna let it be. It is what it is. Freestyle this whole thing, just to give them no notes and none of that, just to get it, just to get it off. Sometimes you gotta, you know what I mean. Sometimes you gotta let the dog out. You know what I mean, just to get these thoughts off. How things would be different. Freestyle, but hey, what are your thoughts? Hopefully you enjoyed the conversation. I am gonna play this back, listen to it, and then eventually do an update. But I wanna get my mental notes off. I wanna, all these things to take into consideration. And after this video, there is going to be a part two. But after this video, when I do come back, it's going to be more organized. I'm not going to have any interruptions. And I am going to take notes. Because I do believe some of the thoughts were some good ideas. Like some topics maybe I should have explored deeper in. But just and this is something for you. You don't necessarily gotta agree with me, but what are your thoughts and your opinion? How would hip hop be different? And when you explain it, please take into consideration the butterfly effect. How one thing affects another. It's your homeboy Underground Perspective. Peace. Have a good rest of the year. I'm out.